All right. Welcome, everyone, to what is this, our seventh Friday the 13th review? Is that where we're at? Part
Yeah,
seven, The New
seven.
Blood. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am joined again by Paul. And Paul, if you could introduce yourself quickly in case anybody hasn't watched any of these.
Yeah, absolutely. So up to number 7. My name is Paul from the podcast Tales from the Flipside. Search for us on YouTube and definitely at least check out our playlists. We got all sorts of other stuff on there: old comic, vintage voyage shows, foreign comics, craziness. So check it out. It's a good time while we're all stuck inside anyway.
Yeah, I know. I've had a little bit extra time this last week. I didn't have much going on in the form of recording stuff, so I've actually gotten to watch stuff and listen to some stuff. So that's been good. Probably the only benefit. Unfortunately, what wasn't a benefit really was having the time to watch Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. It's the plot this time is Jason is up against essentially a Carrie-like character with supernatural abilities, and the plot goes that as a kid, a little girl, this Carrie-like telekinetic character was at Crystal Lake with her family. She's an only child, and the dad was beating the wife. So her dad was beating her mom. So she ran out of the house, got in the canoe to kind of get away. And the movie opens with the dad coming out like, "Hey, please come back." And the girl, through her powers, ends up killing the father by breaking the pier that he's out at, and he drowns to death. So that's the setup. She returns years later. Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's is her doctor and brings them out to the cottage to kind of like bring her closer to her fears and work with her. And of course, Jason comes back and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, what were your thoughts on this one?
I remember nothing from this one, so this must be reaching beyond my Jason memories and territory. Before I forget, what they ignored from number 6 is that Jason at the end of 6 opened his eyes.
Yes,
underwater.
Yes.
So that has been erased, and Jason is officially dead again at the bottom of the lake.
Right.
It wasn't atrocious, maybe because I've had time to recover, but it was a Jason movie. I'll give it that. It was a slasher flick.
I think you're being a little too friendly. I thought this sucked, especially after 6, which was so fun.
Yeah. I think 6 is going to be the best in the series.
I got to imagine. And by the way, I didn't even bring up on the last episode for 6. We didn't even talk about the James Bond opening.
That was great
either. Yeah. So the beginning of 6, to touch on stuff we screwed up and didn't bring up. Basically, they zoom into Jason's eye, and there's like Jason walking across the camera like James Bond does. He pulls the gun out, but instead he slashes the screen and blood drips down the screen. Pretty neat. But it took me about halfway through the movie to realize that was Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's. That's actually him. So that is entertaining. Now, again, this one tries to give you like a character to care about, I guess. I don't hate the idea of the telekinetic girl fighting Jason on its face. Like, it sounds like it could be fun. But so much ridiculous shit happens in this. The ending is horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jason, this is the first appearance by Kane Hodder.
I have a better idea for the ending. Sorry to interrupt you. When we get there. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the appearance of Kane Hodder, and he is by far the biggest looking Jason we've had so far. I mean, he looks like a monster. They've got his skeleton and stuff kind of showing. Yeah, he looks very rotted and gross. I wasn't a big fan of what his face looked like at the end. I thought that was a little goofy.
Yeah, it's almost like Jason is still growing or changing. Somehow as the movies go on, like he's still growing up. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like they get a new makeup person every time, and there's no consistency. You know what I mean?
Any of the previous ones, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's a romance in this, I guess. The girl lives in a cabin. She's kind of there with the dad, or not the dad, the doctor, and the mom. And again, we have a movie where it's like, I'm sitting there wondering who the psychiatrist wants to bang. It seems that way through the first half of the movie. Like, it's very disturbing and awkward. You know,
I'll take the patient, I'll take the mom, I'll take somebody.
Yeah, that's totally how it felt. They, of course, there's a crew of random teenagers that live across the way in another cabin. They're there visiting, like they always are in these movies. This one's not at a camp, is it? It's more like rental cottages, right?
Yeah, they're just kind of there for a party weekend.
It reminded me of part 4.
It's a birthday, right?
Yes, that's
They're
right.
And the guy, cousin's birthday.
Yep, and he doesn't show up because he gets killed on his way to his own birthday party. But yeah, we have all the stock characters. We've got the love interest guy who's like kind of the more normal, good-looking guy. You've got the black couple that are there. You've got the kind of prissy, stuck-up bitch character.
I hated that. That character reminded me of somebody I worked with at a previous job, and I was when she finally got it, I was a little bit satisfied, to be honest with you.
Well, that's a growing problem as we go through these, and with slasher movies in general, and I think it's part of the reason why they kind of faded out so quickly, is that right when the movie starts and you meet the cast of characters, and the movie Scream from Wes Craven played on this perfectly, because that was basically, it was an homage / spoof of these movies. And it's like, as soon as you meet the characters, you see their personalities, the actions they take, you can guess everyone who's going to die. You know what I mean? So there's not much left. I guess you could say that the girl who was kind of the quote unquote like fugly girl, who the one girl made a comment about her needing a makeover or whatever. Maybe she didn't deserve it.
She could have lived. Although
I guess she kind of gave in and turned, materialistic by the time she died. She went up and did her makeup, and she was going to show everybody. And then we get to something you pointed out via text with me. Jason, this movie should be Friday the 13th, part 7. Jason takes the tool shed or something. Because everything. I mean, can you remember some of the weapons he has in this?
So he's in the barn with the pretty girl, and we have to touch on how Jason comes back too. But
oh yes, of course.
He's in the barn. He has the sickle, I think, the scythe. And then he has the craziest one that just was out of the blue, though, was the weed whacker with the saw blade on the end. Where my wife was like, "Where did he get that?"
Yeah, it's long as hell.
And it starts on the first pull. Give me a break.
Yes,
or the second, true. First or second pull. Never.
Yeah, anyone who's ever tried to start up a tool or a snowmobile that's been sitting out for too long, you're not getting it on the first pull. At least not in the 80s. I think technology's gotten a little better now. They can kind of make these things so they start up a lot quicker. But no, he gets a long like weed whacker thing, and it turns kind of awkward, him even trying to kill the person with it, because it's like, that's not the most I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to get away from. It would be very awkward to carry, and it just makes for a goofy ass scene.
He's not quiet, like where he is the whhole time when the machine's running.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If he would have used it as a decoy, that would have, I think, maybe saved that weapon.
Oh, that's interesting. He just starts it up and lays it on the ground or something and gets people to look that direction. You mentioned, and we're going to jump around, you mentioned how he comes back. Now I'm going to try to explain it, but if you could save me where I screw this up. But essentially, the girl kind of loses it when she revisits the town, and she walks out to like kind of does she try to wake her dad up? Is that what she's trying to do? What is she doing?
Man, we might both have to fix this on another episode. She's just her psychic abilities are triggered by high levels of emotion.
Yes.
So she sees images of people dying by just being either by Jason or just she sees flashes. So she's worried. And I think you may be right. She tries to bring her dad back, or she doesn't know what she's doing. She's just in a fit of psychokinetic rage. And she knows she's done something, but she doesn't know what it is. And what she's done is brought Jason back to life.
Right. Yes.
I don't know if she's trying to bring her dad back because it's at the same lake or not. I can't.
Well, you kind of jumped ahead because she doesn't start getting those visions until after Jason's already back, right? So I think she has a fight with the doctor, and she like storms out of the house and walks out to the pier. And I don't know if she's trying to bring her dad back, but I think she's trying to like connect with that part of herself or something. But the other bizarre thing is that we go from the only thing we know about the dad is that he was beating the shit out of her mom. Yeah. And then throughout the movie, she's like emotionally connected to him, which I understand. You would still be sad that your dad died, but as the audience, it's like they quickly say, oh yeah, forget about that. Forget about that. He was beating the shit out of the mom and he kind of deserved to die, but just, forget about that. And all of a sudden she's all upset all the time over this. And she goes out there and Jason, basically she brings him back to life instead, which not the worst thing in the world, I guess, as far as, because I mean, you get these movies are just like in Nightmare Part 4, Freddy gets brought back to life because a dog pisses like a thing of fire. And that's how he comes back. There's no explanation.
Why'd you spoil that for me?
But hell yeah, you're not going to forget that one either. You're going to be like, oh shit, that dog, that's the one that's going to do it. You son of a bitch. The dog's name, Jason, actually.
No, wow, how about that?
Yeah, a little bit of a cross homage, but yeah. That's an interesting thing too. Is she throughout the movie, she like can see these people getting killed
before it happens.
Right. Well, is it before or is it as?
It's got to be before because she's saying, well, maybe not with the cousin. I don't know the timeline there, but I know she sees her mom die before she dies, for sure.
Okay.
And then I don't know about the other ones, but this doctor
that's right, because she's driving the car trying to get away after one of her hitsy fits, and in the middle of the road is the mom getting killed. That's right.
So this doctor is egging her on. He's not really trying to help her. He's basically trying to help his career by this girl who can light matches on fire. I'm going to take a video of her getting all distraught, and later in the movie, the mom discovers it. So I think that's why she's trying to connect with her dad, because she doesn't feel connected with her mom. She feels like the doctor and the mom are really against her. I think that's why she tries to connect with her dad, maybe bring him back.
That makes sense. So a little bit of well, hey, maybe dad was right to beat the shit out of mom. Is that what
I'm not going to touch that. but how she can't bring her dad back? I mean, his body's not still in the lake. So I don't know.
We think.
Yeah,
we think she can't. But I mean that's interesting. You've got it's like they really, and I read an article about this movie. And by the way, I wasn't aware of this, and I haven't read ahead. I haven't even read part 8 yet, but a while ago, GQ, one of the writers over there, every Friday the 13th, he wrote an article about the every Friday the 13th movie. And apparently part 7, the goal for this was like an Oscar-worthy film. That was the goal when they were putting this together, was that this was going to be like the emotional, like really touching, deep movie. And I think it tries to be deep, like with what you just said, but it's not. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, they crapped the bed on that one. They could have done it. They could. I think they could have done it if they had like just a 3 to 5 minute story of maybe the girl having some good times with her dad or some good family memories, rather than just they're at the cabin and it's immediate, dad's an a-hole and I'm going to run out on the pier.
Yep. And then the movie treats you like you're a fucking idiot, because literally 6 minutes later, they show that scene again when it's like, you don't need to show it again. We understand what she's thinking about right now. You know what I mean? And I hate that. I can't stand when movies do that. It's so lazy to me.
Just a filler, worthless
Yes,
filler.
right, exactly. Like I don't need to see him die. But the final battle in this, it becomes Jason chasing after her from place to place. First, she like electrocutes him in the middle of the road, and then she fights him in the cabin. And then he gets the girl. They go to another cabin. She fights him there. He gets his mask knocked off. He looks like a fucking. He doesn't look human anymore at all. There's no human left here.
It's got to be the soaking in the lake that's really doing him in.
Yeah, you think that wrinkly, pruny skin is really getting to him? But anyway, yeah. So she ends up fighting him in the basement, and she uses her powers to kind of coat the floor with gas.
Yeah, that was some super soaker gas can.
Yeah,
and then she gets it on herself. Like, come on,
right? Well, and then she lights it on fire, and it's like I don't know what sort of explosives this cabin had in it.
I think it was a meth lab.
It goes up, man. It explodes. And then you're like, oh, okay, so that's how they're gonna kill Jason. But no, Jason. He continues to come, and he comes out to the pier, and she summons her father. And tell me, I took this as literal. Like I think this happened. I don't think it was her imagination. I don't think it was symbolic, but she awakens her father, who then rips Jason down and back underwater. Right?
Yeah.
Is that how he dies?
Yeah.
So her father, by the way, is in perfect condition. He looks exactly as he did when he first died, right?
Yeah, he looks great. He's even dry, I think, when he comes outside the lake.
I immediately, you hadn't watched it yet, and I immediately sent a message saying that might be the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It is so stupid. And to put that, this character has not earned a redemption. We literally have seen him only beat the wife. That's the only thing we know about him. And he gets the hero,
right.
Yeah.
Terrible. And so the only two ways, just this one just popped into my head, that maybe it's not his physical embodiment, his body, but just she summoned his poltergeist / high level power ghost or whatever. Maybe that's just me trying to plug holes. The better ending, in my opinion, would have been, you could even throw in for those extra seconds as maybe her mentally putting some chain links back together. The chain comes out and wraps around Jason, and that pulls him back in. Like, how much better would have the ending have been than if it were her dad?
Ooh, that would have been cool to see, like, her use the chain as like wrap it around his body, a little bit of a special effect. It looks like Paul's got some food.
I'm good.
It's the perfect time.
In the thing with the key hanging out of it. Sorry about that.
No, to your point though, you're right. That would make a neat scene. Have the chain act like a snake or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It fucking grabs him, wraps him up, whatever. She puts him right back where he belongs.
They could have even they could have done a homage to Alien, and Aliens had it come out of his chest.
Yeah.
And wrap and pull him down or something. But I think the dad thing was it had nothing to do with the movie, because you don't care about the character.
Yeah, well, and you're completely correct. You needed more about the dad.
No, that's the ending we're talking about. Where her dad pops out. He's not even wet.
Well, I mean, he is supernatural.
Yeah, it's a waste. Anyway.
Hey, look, she's got her opinion. They all do, Paul.
I know.
But no, So to your point earlier, though, it's like you needed a scene with the dad. Maybe the dad is like Jack Torrance in The Shining. He's like a decent guy who gets drunk, or he's got a booze problem. You know what I mean? He's got an alcohol problem, something to make it so that I can give a flying fuck about the dad or the daughter or anyone.
Even like 3 sentences of, mommy, something about, daddy's so much nicer when he doesn't drink, and mom's like, I know, honey, but he loves us no matter what, or something. anything to give a history of he wasn't always a total asshole.
It's crazy. There are so many movies, so many things like this where a line of dialogue can just patch a problem. And it's like you never understand how the hell something gets through. But yes, you're right. That was stupid. How
many deaths? Do we got a death toll for this one?
Yes. So we were at we're counting Jason deaths. We were at 53 going into this. And let's see here. Jason gets another 15 kills. Gets another 15 here. We've got, I'll just go through them. We got Jane, whose throat is impaled with a tent spike. Michael, back impaled with a thrown spike. Dan, Jason's hand driven through back, neck broken. Bashed against a tree, face struck with an axe, drowned in a lake. Yes, my favorite kill so far. My favorite one. The woman is in the sleeping bag and he picks it up and hits the tree with it.
Yeah, I think that kind of shed some light on a dark part of my wife or something. He's like, yeah, that's how you. It's like, I don't know what her experience is. It's like, yeah, it's like a cat. And I'm like, what do you mean a cat? She's like, that's how you kill a cat. You just put it in a bag. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What is this? Your family loves animals. I don't know. That was some crazy. We went to another level on that one, but I mean,
you're right. If you put a cat in a pillowcase, you could take care of it pretty fucking quick, right?
I guess, but yeah, the sleeping bag one was that
was great. Brutal. Yeah. That was pretty great. I like that. One. The cheesier they are, the better.
That and you'll get to it. I'm sure. I apologize to the party balloon through the eye. I think, or the party
horn driven into eye. Yep, yeah. Kate, Kate and David. They were just trying to get it on in the van. That was dumb as hell too, because they just assume that, it's what's his name? He's here. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, no, 15 kills. We're up to 68. 68 Jason kills going into Jason Takes Manhattan.
What was my guess?
You were
180 or something stupid.
You were up in the and I mean, we got, what do we got? We got 2 left. We could do the remake, but I feel like that doesn't count in this, right?
No,
it's not the same series, but we got
add a new character, but that's kind of grasping.
No, we've got 3 left. We've got Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason Goes to Hell, and Jason X. I think you might get a pretty good kill count in Jason X, if I remember correctly. But
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, anything else? I guess I would say that this might have been my favorite looking protagonist final girl. She was a good looking girl. I liked her. She's not a terrible actress, I guess, considering. But yeah, I got nothing else on this one. This sucked.
I just feel that following up 6, which was, we're just going to say it's the greatest one of the series. So, I mean, we'll just lay that down. We think we mentioned it before that could be, we don't know for sure, but we're strong positive. A few lines of dialogue and changing the ending could have redeemed this movie. And unfortunately, everyone was, someone was quiet during the important board meetings, I think.
Yes. No, this was clearly, we've got to keep cranking these out. They're making us money. And you're right. 6, to me, so far, we're through 7 of these. 6 is the only one that I've watched so far, maybe outside of the first one at its time, but 6 is the one where I watched it and I'm like, okay, I get it. I understand why people love this because it's fun. And then you go to this and it just sucked. It sucks. But yeah, that's it for me. Paul, again, where can we find you?
Yeah, YouTube, Tales from the Flipside podcast, live Monday nights around 9:30. And other than that, our channel's got some other good shows on there. Vintage Voyage, old comics, foreign comics, and all sorts of good stuff. So check it out.
Sweet. And I've been Jackson, boredandanoid.com. We've been intermittently recording episodes and putting them up on YouTube through quarantine. Maybe by the time you see this video, quarantine will be over. But make sure you subscribe to our show on iTunes or Google Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, and definitely subscribe on Bored and Annoyed's YouTube channel. And go on over to CBSI and subscribe. Tales from the Flipside, and make sure you subscribe to Downright Nerdy as well, because I show up on there every other week. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Next week, Jason Takes Manhattan.